I'm Edwina and I'm here from Spitpress TV. Today we're here at the Gaffer Gallery with Kelly, the director. Thank you for having us today.
It's a pleasure.
So tell me, why do you think Spitpress is important to the creative community of Sydney?
Well, from our point of view as an artist-run space, initiatives like Spitpress are really important because they help us to promote the emerging artists that we support. And as an artist-run initiative, it's always a limited budget that you're working with. So any organisations that are in it to support artists, I suppose, in a voluntary way and off, sort of the skin off their own noses without charging, it's just great. More exposure for everyone is fabulous.
So tell me, how did the Gaffer Gallery get started and why?
Gaffer is about 6 years old now, and we first opened on Crown Street in a tiny little building. Well, compared to the building we're in now, it was really tiny. And it was mainly to provide exhibition space for emerging artists in an affordable and supportive environment. Yeah.
And so what does the Gaffer Gallery have coming up in the next couple of months?
In the next couple of months, there's always lots going on here. We'll have jewellery classes. The third semester starts in September. We've also got a Sydney Design Week event which opens on the 29th of this month, July. And that is a really interesting sort of performative work that we're going to be putting on. We have 5 industry professionals from the different disciplines. So we've got architecture, fashion and textiles, product design, visual communication. So we've got 5 industry professionals coming in and teaching 5 students over the course of the exhibition from different institutes such as COFA and UTS, and working together on a brief which will provide them. So it's kind of like a design Big Brother, so the audience can come in and watch them create things over the 2 weeks. Yeah.
Sounds so interesting. If you think kind of Sydney's creative community, first of all, do you think Sydney's creative community has one kind of united voice? And if they do, what would it say? Like, if it could.
Gosh, I don't know. That's a really difficult question. I wouldn't say there's one united voice. I think what makes Sydney interesting is there are quite a number of creative disciplines which are equally supported. So if you want to think of it in like sectors, there's object design, there's the performance arts, there's sculpture, and like a healthy new media community going on as well. But what Gaffer, I think, wants to try and support is a lot of interdisciplinary collaboration and cross-platform art where artists from various backgrounds can come together and show and hopefully work together and sort of make interesting work out of that.
So tell me, what do you think then can be done to kind of amplify and support Sydney's creative voice, like coming to places like the Gaffer Gallery and buying artwork and supporting the artists? Or?
Definitely. I think just public support, audience support for the artists, whichever industry they're in, the visual arts, music, writing. Yeah, it's just getting more public and audience support, which is why Spitpress is such a great thing.
Yeah. So what would you say for kind of young creative minds and the potential contributors to outlets like the Gaffer Gallery and the Spitpress to do? Like, what would be your advice to them?
In getting their work out there?
Yeah, and just staying inspired and motivated. And
I think just go for it and know that there are organisations like Gaffer and a number of other artist-run initiatives such as First Draft and Mock Projects, which are there to support you, and the people that run them are more often than not artists themselves, so they know where you're coming from and understand your needs as an artist. So yeah, just get in touch with the spaces that want to help you get your work out there, I guess.
Okay, well Kelly, thank you so much for having us today and for supporting the Spit Press. Thanks guys.
Hey, you're watching Spit Press TV. I'm Steph. We're here with Miranda Darling today, author of books such as B Model, An Embellished Memoir, and Troika Dolls. So Miranda is the daughter of a public policy professional and a writer. She was hitting the catwalks in fashion hotspots like London, Paris and Milan at age 15. She then pursued the study of English and modern languages at Oxford and has been working as a journalist up until recently in security, policy and international intrigue. Her latest book, Troika Dolls, was influenced by her travels across Eastern Europe, particularly Russia, and explores human trafficking and sex slavery in the buzzing continental contemporary underworld. Described as more than just a pretty face, Miranda Darling would have been in the running for the Books and Looks Award at any high school formal, and so we're really excited to chat with her today.
That was quite an introduction, Steph, thank you.
It's
very nice to have you.
Thanks so much for having us.
No, it's a pleasure, it's a pleasure.
So, the first thing I noticed when I talked about you and when I walked into your place here, it's beautiful, is that your overseas experiences and your travel have really influenced the way you see the world and your work. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the way that travel has coloured your writing?
Yeah, it does very much so. I'm a writer who writes very much from a sense of place, even before character. I think, you know, for me, if I go somewhere and it intrigues me, I immediately want to know what's happening, how do the people live, who lives here, what could happen here, and it just really sparks my interest in my imagination. So I love to travel, but it's also something I need to do to feed that inspiration. I've always been nomadic. As a child, I used to travel a lot, and then I spent 11 years travelling before I came back to Australia.
Wow.
So yeah, it's something that I'm very comfortable doing and almost need to be energised.
Yeah. In one of your other major works, B Model, An Embellished Memoir, fictional and embellished as it might be, you spare no detail in, I guess, conveying the horrors and the substandard living conditions of girls who are scouted to be catwalk models. So at the risk of making your work sound very tabloid, is there an element of advocacy or exposure to the writing that you do, especially in B Model and maybe Troika Dolls as well?
Yeah, I think there is. I think you're right, and I didn't really notice it until I finished Troika Dolls and looked back and thought there is a parallel. It was subliminal to an extent, not with Troika Dolls. With Troika Dolls, it was very planned. The idea of people who exploit others, the indifference to other humanity and other people, and the evils that come from that. And B Model was more just a sort of explosion of experiences, things I'd seen and heard and embellished for the benefit of the reader. But it's something that it is close to my heart. People who are powerless, people who need the voice, and so yeah, it's a theme that runs quite strongly through both, and probably will continue to run through the subsequent Stevie books. Okay. I'm guessing because yeah. It's something close to my heart.
So you quote Ezra Pound at the very beginning of Troika Dolls, I noticed that. And that led me to ask, what do you love about literature and why do you write?
I think I might answer the second question first, because
sure.
They're two very big questions.
Yes.
And I would say I write because I'm greedy. I want to live 100 lives, and the only way that I can do that is through my characters and through my stories. And I love literature because, well, good literature takes you, to paraphrase someone who's never forgotten, it makes you alive in bodies not your own. And I think that's something that's very exciting, and if you can get into the head of another character, you see things from their perspective, and you begin to experience things that only they have experienced. You begin to feel compassion, and you begin to understand other points of view, and anything that broadens consciousness, anything that broadens your own perspective is only going to be a good thing. quite aside from the artistic merit, the shivers you get from the use of good language, and you see the world anew when someone writes well. You know?
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's great. So tell us about what's coming up for you, Miranda Darling, as an author, in August and September in 2010.
Ooh, well, I think it's going to be quite busy. I have my book launch tomorrow night, actually, at Berkeley.
Oh, wow.
Which is, quite fun, and I'm a little bit nervous about that. But and up to the Byron Bay Writers Festival, and then I'm pretty much finished the next Stevie Duveen book, which is provisionally titled The Tunic of Nessus. And that will be set on the super yachts of Sardinia, and we'll be visiting Azerbaijan and all sorts of interesting places with villains and others. So
places that you have been.
Yes,
Azerbaijan.
Of course. I can't really write about a place unless I've been there.
Yeah,
I need to,
that's beautiful.
So feel the people, and so that's almost ready to go off to the publishers, and that'll come out this time next year, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
The next instalment.
Yeah, and then B Model is being made into a film as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Rachel Griffiths, the Australian actress, is making her directorial debut with this film.
Yes.
So she has her producer Louise Smith there working on it together.
And that's forecast to be ready soonish?
I'm not sure when. With films, you never really know, but I think they have the money, and they're onto their sort of last draft of screenplay or whatever. So hopefully they'll start filming soonish.
Yeah.
And so that should be quite fun.
So I guess the last thing we want to talk about is the Spit Press as a creative magazine for people in Sydney who appreciate art. What do you think that is the significance, the importance of something like that, especially for writers like yourself and aspiring artists?
I think it's terrific to have especially a local and community-based voice like that, and a new voice in the debate and putting things out there. For writers, I think a lot of creative people feel a little bit isolated. And Australia, although we have a wonderful and vibrant, creative scene here, I think sometimes you can feel a little bit far away from where it's really happening. And I think the more voices and that there are out there commenting and showing their work and things like that, the more you begin to feel that there are a lot of people around you who are thinking and writing and creating things, and it's enlivening, it's inspiring, it's comforting, supporting, and it's a really important thing to be doing. So I think it's terrific that Spit Press has emerged.
Yeah, no, well, thank you for lending us your voice as well for that.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.